I'm Jeff Brandmeyer. I'm one of the teachers in the Carlsbad High School Film Academy. I was in charge of a grant that our school had received, and what we were being tasked to do was create new programs, basically smaller learning communities. And one of the things I had always wanted to do was have a film program on our campus. So I was sitting on this big pile of money that went to other places too, but I said, why don't we do it now? So I got together with some colleagues and we created this program that allowed us to both study and learn to make film. We weren't exactly sure what the program would look like, how the various teachers would all work together. We were 3 different teachers who were just kind of each doing our own thing without a lot of consultation with one another and without a great sense at the beginning of what the program would be or where it would head. So that was the challenge, was figuring out what the program would be like. One of the earliest trials we faced was not knowing exactly what our definition of the program was going to be. We knew we wanted to teach students about film. We knew we wanted to be able to help students learn to make film, but we didn't know how all that worked together or what our end goals were. So that was a challenge. Another challenge was the perception of what a film program would be. A lot of people thought it was going to be like a dumbed down version of an English class or a history class, or it was for people who were just kind of messing around and not taking school seriously. And we wanted to change that perception, make it so that it was a legitimate study of a legitimate art form. I don't know if I would say there was a crisis when we were developing the Film Academy. There came a point at which we had to choose one of 2 paths in terms of where the program was going. Up to a certain point, we included AP classes in our program, but it was really difficult to incorporate AP into the program to get kids ready to do well on that test, but also teach them all the things we wanted them to know for doing filmmaking, doing that well. So there came a point at which we had to cut that part of the program loose. Yeah, I think that's when we were able to finally say, well, here's what we are and here's what we're going to do. That's when my colleagues and I were able to sit down and say, okay, now we know what our end point is. We want to earn linked learning certification. We want to become a program that's recognized as both academically and curricularly challenging, and knowing that we didn't have to worry about that other element allowed us to kind of sit down and figure that all out. So it focused us quite a bit. The program has changed me in that I love even more what I do. I was an English teacher and I loved teaching reading and sharing literature with people, but I absolutely, all my life, I've loved film. So being able to come to school every day knowing that's my primary focus and sharing that love of both watching film and making film with my students, my life is an absolute joy. One of the greatest rewards has been developing relationships with the students and sharing with them the things I love, and to a great degree, I think in a lot of cases, fostering that love of the same thing in them. And that relationship develops to the benefit of both me and my students, and whom I hope it has had a positive impact on. And it absolutely has a positive impact on me. My advice for someone who wants to get into film is, of course, not necessarily from my own personal experience, because I'm a high school teacher, but in seeing my students and in having guests who come to talk to us, I think getting into film is about doing it. I think if you're in high school and there is a film program, that's an awesome place to start, because it's a place where you can begin to develop your interests in, your skills in filmmaking. But the beautiful thing about film in the last 10 to 15, maybe even 20 years is that now equipment is so much more available, and students are able to grab a camera, grab a mic, go out and make any story they want to, and then once you get into the editing programs at the end, you're turning it into what you want it to be. So I've said this quite a few times, and it's not original with me, but filmmaking has become democratized. It used to be that you had to go to an expensive school and use expensive film with expensive cameras. Now you have a DSLR, you have a relatively inexpensive mic, and you go. It's like, just get out and do it. It's really exciting.